Following the destruction of Climax, Nevada, in May of 1993, federal authorities believed the biological threat had been eliminated. Investigators recovered the remains of one Tyrannosaurus specimen and two Deinonychus specimens from the quarantine zone. The recovered carcasses were transported to government laboratories for pathogen analysis. Research later confirmed that the prehistoric disease responsible for the Climax outbreak could be destroyed through prolonged exposure to extreme temperatures. In 1995, investigators received multiple reports of a Deinonychus-like creature in California, believed to be the third unaccounted specimen. The animal became informally known among researchers as Eve. Beginning in late 1995, reports involving unidentified predatory animals began appearing across California. The first reports originated from heavily wooded regions near Sacramento. Witnesses described large reptilian animals moving through forests and residential neighborhoods during nighttime hours. Photographic evidence soon confirmed the presence of multiple animals. The following footage was also recovered from a trail camera in a forested region of Sacramento. Reports from the San Francisco Bay region involved a previously undocumented species. Recovered photographs revealed a large theropod exhibiting severe genetic abnormalities. The animals were determined as some species of Megalosaurus. Investigators later determined all known Megalosaurus specimens possessed non-functional eyes. Despite this disability, the animals demonstrated unusually advanced hearing and olfactory capabilities. Several encounters suggested increasing territorial conflict between species. One video appears to document a confrontation between a Megalosaurus and a Tyrannosaurus specimen. The following footage was recovered from a home security system in San Francisco. In early 1996, wildlife officials began investigating a series of unexplained elk deaths throughout forested regions near San Jose. Initial examinations suggested attacks by large predatory animals. Several days later, investigators recovered photographic evidence of a previously undocumented theropod. The animal was later identified as Altispinax. Witnesses frequently reported electronic malfunctions during sightings. Radio failures, camera distortion and unexpected power interruptions occurred when in close proximity to the creature. The following footage was recovered from a trail camera in San Jose. Several weeks later, reports began emerging from agricultural communities near Fresno. Farmers reported livestock disappearances occurring almost every night. The attacks initially targeted poultry farms. Evidence suggested the animals were feeding mostly on domesticated birds. Federal investigators later identified the species as Dilophosaurus. The following footage was captured from a security camera at a farm in Fresno. Reports from Los Angeles began describing a creature that resembled a Tyrannosaurus rex. However, the actual species was identified as Tarbosaurus. Witnesses repeatedly described seeing the large predatory animals appearing and disappearing without explanation. Investigators struggled to determine how the animal avoided detection for extended periods. One of the most widely circulated photographs appears to show a Tarbosaurus attacking a mechanical dinosaur display after mistaking it for prey. Along with that, this footage was captured at Universal Studios Los Angeles by a security camera. The most alarming reports originated from Southern California. The following footage was recovered at a private residence in San Diego. Witnesses reported seeing animals matching the description of the Climax Tyrannosaurus moving through suburban neighborhoods. Several photographs recovered from the San Diego Zoo documented attacks on captive animals. The incidents resulted in multiple fatalities and extensive property damage. As reports accumulated, it was obvious California contained not one species but an ecosystem of apex predators. Military reconnaissance teams were deployed to multiple regions. Their objective was simple: locate the animals and destroy them. Following the confirmation of multiple Carnosaur species throughout California, federal investigators returned to the ruins of the Eunice Corporation facility. During the search, investigators discovered structural damage beneath the main laboratory complex. The damage exposed a previously undocumented access corridor. Upon entering, investigators discovered an extensive research complex. Unlike the upper facility, portions of the underground complex remained operational. Recovered documents revealed the underground facility had been intentionally concealed from regulators and government inspectors. Additional documents confirmed the purpose behind Project Lazarus. Corporate leadership believed successful reconstruction of extinct animals would dramatically increase investment and international licensing opportunities. The lower facility contained hundreds of failed specimens. Many displayed catastrophic developmental abnormalities. Most survived only briefly after birth. Others remained alive for extended periods despite severe deformities. Genetic degradation had become increasingly severe as researchers attempted to reconstruct species from incomplete prehistoric DNA. Several specimens exhibited mutations that could not be traced to any known genetic source. Investigators also discovered evidence of species never mentioned in surviving Eunice records. Aquatic specimens were also being created prior to the Climax incident. Among the recovered records was a report concerning two unidentified prehistoric DNA samples. Researchers believed the DNA belonged to Velociraptor and Pterodactylus. Documentation regarding mutation concerns was recovered. Researchers reported increasing frequencies of previously unknown biological traits. Several mutations documented in the report would appear within wild Carnosaur populations throughout California. The most interesting discovery came from the personal writings of Dr. Jane Tiptree. The journals confirmed the saurian plague had been intentionally modified. It was altered to spare reconstructed animals while lethal to humans. Within the laboratory, an investigator made an unfortunate discovery. This following footage was captured inside the Eunice lab. While searching the lower laboratory, a discovery was made. At least one reconstructed Dilophosaurus survived. The animal attacked the investigators, which resulted in one fatality. Several others were injured. The animal was ultimately neutralized by responding personnel. Autopsy results later confirmed the specimen had survived by feeding on deceased experiments, but also had an extraordinary ability to go long periods of time without food. The conclusion of the investigation, based on internal records, was that the surviving Deinonychus from Climax possessed the ability to produce eggs belonging to entirely different prehistoric species. By the summer of 1996, federal authorities initiated large-scale extermination operations throughout California. The first major engagement occurred in San Diego. Multiple Tyrannosaurus specimens emerged from wilderness regions surrounding the city. The attack quickly escalated into a regional disaster. Although several tyrannosaurs were successfully killed, it was discovered the death of an infected animal would release large quantities of airborne saurian plague particles. Within days, infection rates among military personnel began increasing, causing the tyrannosaurs to win the battle. One month later, Deinonychus populations launched coordinated attacks throughout the Sacramento region. By the end of July, military forces had abandoned multiple sectors. The Tarbosaurus attacks began in August. The animals demonstrated little to no reaction to severe injuries. Although bullets could still kill them, the Tarbosaurus appeared incapable of recognizing pain. The camouflage abilities of the Tarbosaurus made it difficult for military personnel to spot and target them. The resulting engagements produced significant casualties on both sides. By September, Megalosaurus populations emerged throughout the Bay Area. The species possessed unusually thick skin that reduced the effectiveness of standard firearms, however tank rounds were very effective. Despite these victories, infection rates among survivors continued rising. Flamethrowers were issued to military personnel to fight off the saurian plague. The Dilophosaurus outbreak presented an entirely different challenge. The species demonstrated the ability to survive temperatures that would normally destroy the saurian plague. The death of each animal released additional pathogen material into the surrounding environment. The final major engagement occurred near San Jose. Electronic failures were reported throughout the battle. Communication systems collapsed, vehicle guidance systems malfunctioned, and radio contact became impossible. By the conclusion of the battles, organized resistance throughout California had effectively collapsed. Faced with growing casualty numbers and uncontrollable infection rates, federal authorities enacted emergency containment procedures. Roadways leading out of California were sealed. Minefields, artillery zones, helicopter patrol corridors, and fortified checkpoints were established along major transportation routes. Civilian travel was suspended, commercial shipping was halted, air traffic ceased, maritime routes were closed, and California became an isolated containment zone. One month after the quarantine began, Investigators recovered footage from a research team operating within a former Dilophosaurus nesting region. Two scientists were later discovered dead. Autopsy reports identified an unknown venom as the probable cause. The following footage was recorded from a camera of one of the scientists.